Monday, March 4th. It's only taken us forever just to get it started, but that's okay. We're not throwing judgment, even if it's our birthday. Hey, Camp Tecumseh stuff, make sure you turn it in so I can be nice to you and put you into your groups, because my basketball ends this week and then I have lots of free time that I'm going to be filling with working on camp. Let's see, from there, this week over here we do stories today, tomorrow, Wednesday, Thursday. Full week of story things. Your only real homework is going to be Friday, where you have the 9-week assessment coming up on Friday. You are going to have to read 3 articles for it because you're writing a comparison between the articles. I sent them out to your parents over the weekend, so if they ask you to read a thing, that's what they're referring to. I will give you guys a copy of your stuff coming up like tomorrow or Wednesday. And you being able to read them is your only official homework this week. And then Honor Society. Hopefully Honor Society people had fun and we got to do our voting and pick officers, of which 4 of them are heroes. 4 of them are heroes, so go us. It's the most we've ever had that are officers for the Honor Society. Go those kids. The IXL I did put in as a 0 if it was not turned in yet. You still get full credit. You just have to have it in by tomorrow. I just figured if I put it in as a 0, that might help inspire some kids to get it turned in and I can be nicer to people. For the quiz, for the overall average was a 74%, and we had 5 kids get a perfect score. For you guys, your average was a 73%. So just under the average, and we had no perfect scores in this class. But
what happens at 4th period?
4th period struggles. It happens. You can't make a kid care about class. So there's only so many things that happen. You can be in the room where all the teaching happens, but you can't make the knowledge go in the head. For you guys, if you were one of those people who did not do well and got the D or lower on this, you can redo it and get up to a C. I have now unlocked it where you have another attempt if you want to. You're more than welcome. If you're happy with your grade, that's fine with me. That's why I updated Skyward. Your grade locks next week. We only have 2 more grades. A 9-week assessment this week, and then we have another quiz next week. And I think that's it, and then we're done as far as grades for 3rd 9 weeks go. For this, let's take a look at some of the questions. So, this was an interesting question. It came from the video that you had to watch while I was gone.
I used Google for that.
And the wrong answer that people chose told me a lot. It says, according to our class discussion, why was Hephaestus connected to volcanoes?
He was crippled.
No.
He lived in work. That's where he lived in work.
That's the story. Where he lived and worked.
It's where he lived and worked.
Yeah,
Let's get it. Let's go. Got that one.
Now,
You got that one, yep.
what was the most common wrong answer?
Mountain of Fire.
It literally says why.
Mountain of Fire. That was everyone who just looked at their blue sheet, saw Hephaestus, and just wrote down Mountain of Fire, and that told me which kids either didn't watch the video or can't read directions. I got to be either one.
It's probably both, to be honest.
Or could be both. This one was not connected to video. This was just how well can you think.
This is the one I got.
So it says, which of these would be considered the most ironic? I think this was the toughest question on there because it required thinking this. What I wanted you to do was go through and look at each god, see what they were the god of, and then see what it connects to. So like Hermes, what's he the god of?
Stealing.
No.
Stealing is one.
Fast.
He's really fast, and he's the messenger. So if he runs around a lot,
He's gonna have good
I thought he
he's got to
flies.
have good shoes. So a shoe company would make sense. What's Athena the god of?
Wisdom and war.
Wisdom, war, being smart.
I knew
So
that.
if you're going to have a tutoring of business, it would make sense. It connects to Athena. What is Hera the god of? Marriage. And if you're creating wedding
Yeah, I got
dresses,
that one right.
the god of marriage would make sense.
Social media site. Oh, darn.
Does Hades like talking to people?
No.
Oh.
What is social media all about?
Talking.
So if you have a social media company which is all about talking to people, you're not going to name it after somebody who hates talking to people. So a social media site connected to Hades would be the one that's the most ironic.
The thing about that confused me and why I said a wedding dress designer was because we talked about that it was
Bad
ironic
marriage.
that she was.
Yeah, that was the most common wrong answer.
Yeah,
That's why I put that,
that's what I got.
And I figured that I was like, it's good, but it's not. The problem is most people don't know she had that marriage. They just go off the fact that she's the god of marriage.
Yeah,
Three.
that's why I picked that. 'Cause
So this was one
This
I
is what I
talked
got
about in
wrong.
class, but mostly came from video. Caduceus' staff is the one in his hand with the 2 wings and the 2 snakes.
It healed.
What does it allow him to do?
Heal
Heal
people.
Heal people.
What was the most common wrong answer?
Allow
Allow
him
us
to
to
fly
steal
and travel
things from
quickly.
Well, that's the one that most people went for. They
Oh,
just saw Hermes and just put, oh, yeah, he flies and travels quickly.
I did.
And
What
so
I
that
got-
was the one
I'm
that a
curious what
lot
I
of
got
people
wrong.
put down.
You have a coldest water bottle?
Hush up.
Jumping all the way to number 10, because like 4 through 9, you guys did well on. Like we averaged like an 80%. This one I thought was going to be easy,
It is.
but apparently people struggled on it. It says, if Gia was going to pray to somebody to fix her marriage, who should she pray to?
Hera.
Why Hera?
Because she's
Because
a
she's
goddess
a
of
marriage.
marriage.
Yeah, I thought that was an easy one, but I had
Was
to
it?
just write down the wrong answers on
I don't
it.
even know what I put for that one.
I was about to put
I said
the
not to hold
one that
anything
starts
out.
with the C.
This one was one that surprised me, the number of kids
I
who
put
got it wrong.
Olympians.
I think it came down to people not reading this part where it says,
Oh,
of the listed options,
I read that.
which group to say was the, what?
Excuse you.
Cyclops.
Excuse you.
Thank you. Overall, who was the tallest creatures in mythology?
Sunday-headed monster.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Are they listed?
No.
No.
So
So
that seemed to
Cyclops.
throw everybody off, which was on purpose, because then we had to do this thinking thing. So between Olympians and Titans, who's taller?
Titans.
They're the same.
Yeah, they're the same. That's like me saying who's taller,
So it's the
people or
Cyclops?
humans. They're the exact same. How about between Titans and the gods and the posters?
Gods in the
They're the
posters.
same.
They're the same
Oh,
again.
same thing.
All the gods and the posters are Titans, which means
Cyclops.
Olympians, Titans, and gods and the posters are all the same answer.
So I think it's you.
So the only things left over would be
Cyclops and
Cyclops and me. And yet this was still
I
a
think
tough
it's
one for
you.
people. Now, some of you might think that I'm a big ugly monster because you look at me and go, eh. And you're like, obviously that's the right answer.
He's like a
But-
goat when he
I knew it. I just said that. Did you hear me say that?
Totally said that.
It's a really because you are the
Yeah.
goat.
I didn't put it down, but I said it.
English.
Ava,
I'm over gonna
good job.
Wait. Oh my god.
Ava,
In the story that you told us, didn't you say that since it started off with Cyclops, no, it didn't start off with Cyclops.
You don't have
Cyclops
a
was
song.
second, and
I
then
do.
it got like lower and lower till like it was the size of their toes. So
Uh-huh.
yeah.
Good job.
Thank you for the interesting
That
fact.
14.
That
didn't
doesn't help
that out.
anything.
Our
You
grammar questions.
can't figure out.
So this was connected to the IXL to see which kids paid
I
attention.
think this is.
The
I
answer
looked
is
this up.
I got this one wrong. Wait.
says, what are the 2 verbs? Zeus was very friendly. He created many children.
I forgot what it was.
Most
Oh,
people could
created.
figure out the action verb,
Was it
Created.
created.
No!
But there was also a helping verb.
Very.
And the helping verb,
Very. Friendly.
so,
What?
yeah, that's your helping verb.
That's what I got.
Is,
That's what I
as,
got.
was, were, has, have, had. The most common wrong answer would be
Friendly.
friendly.
Man,
What is
that's
friendly in
an
it?
adverb.
Ly, which makes it an adverb.
Adverb.
Now, this is an adverb. Very modifies friendly, which makes very also an
So
adverb.
it was created?
So,
No, I think I did put was.
Nope. I'm following directions. Don't
Look
tell
that up.
me.
I put
No, I
was
swear to
and
God,
friendly.
I swear
So
to God.
if I got one of those, was it?
all
Oh God.
Yep. Giver.
Wait.
Why?
Because I need to tell you that I'm being car ride real quick so I don't forget again.
So you got about 10 seconds. This will be a quick type.
10, 9.
Count.
Wait,
I'm counting.
What's up?
So if you put like one of the 2 verbs, do you,
Both or nothing.
I literally just asked that.
I'm sorry, I wasn't
Yeah, pay
listening.
attention, Haley.
I'm sorry, Violet.
Myself.
Our sheep was
15.
distracting.
This one was a little bit easier, but we still struggled. You only had to list 2 of the 3 adjectives. Hades was scary and his dark personality killed weak people. Well, the first one, what word modifies Hades?
Hey, scary.
And what modifies personality?
Dark.
And people?
Kill. Weak.
Wait, we're supposed to do 3? No, we're
Oh
You said
my
2 of the 3.
god!
You said 2 of the 3.
Yes,
Oh.
Oh, no, please, no.
I'm not charging you points, I'm just making fun of you.
I'm confused.
Yeah, I know, you're
I'm
not
sorry.
hiding it. I'm confused also. Is it because you're down to 6 points because you don't know where your chair goes?
Get Will back to
Oh
your
my
seat.
God.
So,
God.
Brovia, can I stand up?
Why are you confused, Liv, now that you found your home?
On my soul, I'm a woman.
Sweet home Alabama.
Hey-do.
She just kicked my chair.
Okay.
Nobody
If you
shared.
Jared complains,
Me
let me know.
too. Hey, well, you need to be stopped immediately.
Brovia,
Hi.
y'all stay right there.
You need to be evacuated
I
from the
know.
premises.
Sorry, I'm not funny either. That's
Hi.
okay. I
So
don't
once-
care.
Once people take like, when people take it for the second time to get a higher grade, is there any way you can change it to show what we got wrong? Like after they take it?
Ooh, probably. If you remind me after class, yes, that's a setting I have to adjust. And I can agree to that. I'm fine with
Because I
that.
want to see what it
I'm fine with that too.
I got wasn't green.
Hi, Liv. Sure.
You have
also
10
tell her
seconds.
that you're a car rider?
Well, no, it's because I didn't ask you for practice.
Alright. So now, if you want to retake it, you're more than welcome to. She was saying you're number one. She was
Right
very
now?
excited for you.
Uh-huh.
But we are going to continue with our story.
Oh, God.
And by end of class today, we should have all of this whole front page done. And we're going to go on to backside down to about 33, 34, somewhere along those. Hopefully that'll help you out. Let's see what all we can remember from last week as we get into our story for this week. So one, the ingredients that Prometheus uses to make humans.
Mud.
Mud and little thingy.
Dirt.
Dirt and water to make mud, and then sprinkles on the little magic dust. What was the only season?
Summer.
Summer, because we have not invented evil or women yet. We're going to get to that later this week.
Hey.
And so things were going well. And then Cronus was afraid that he could not, with his children,
He ate the children.
could not stab the baby, can't
He
throw a baby
swallowed it.
into a hole. So what does he do instead?
Eat it.
Swallow them.
How many does he eat?
All of them.
How many is all?
7. What they said.
Eight.
Wait, did they have 12 kids? So it was like, no.
11.
Because there's 12 and minus 1.
11. So
Yeah,
yeah,
so it's
11.
11.
Hey, let's play a counting game.
Yo, bro, it's
11.
1 minus 12.
Two.
3, 4.
Quattro.
5.
And what's the last one called?
Six.
Zeus.
How
Oh,
many?
5.
Yeah.
I knew that.
By the way,
That was 6.
they're all right here next to each other. That's why I put those posters.
You didn't
Who
say
eats
that.
the babies?
Him.
That's why he's up here on top. And then the 6 babies that he
That doesn't
eats
match that
are
picture.
all the
So
ones right there.
Aphrodite-
What about Pan?
He should
What
be wearing a
about
mini
Leon?
skirt.
What about that person?
Oh, that's me making fun of you because you didn't listen to what I just said. So at this point, why does he not eat the 6th one?
Because she takes it to her
She
mom.
gives him a
rock.
rock.
Because she
The
knows that
rock
he's
comes
gonna.
in, and who raises it?
That's
The
a
mom.
pretty baby-shaped rock.
Mom.
Mother Earth.
Mother, what he said.
There you go.
Mother Earth.
And this is where Zeus gets to
Ew.
grow up down on Mother
Ew,
Earth,
bro.
raised by her.
What's he look like?
Things go well until he finds out that he's not an only child and that he has brothers and sisters, so he wants to go attack them. Well, attack his dad. So he puts on his disguise, mustache, and then goes to confront Cronus. And when he does, what weapon does he use?
A weapon.
Salad on my
Poison potion.
Poison potion.
To make him throw up.
Because that's how he's going to make him throw up, and that's when he
Blah,
catches
blah,
him while
blah.
he's watching Titans.
Blah, blah.
And that's when he's
That was me
throwing up
throwing
on
He
that
said he was
island.
watching football last time.
Did it sound like throwing up like animated?
Totally.
Blah,
And that's when
blah, blah.
splat.
Blah,
And
blah.
rock baby.
But that's Aquaman.
This becomes our big fight between the Titans and the Olympians. Who is the leader for the Titans?
Oh.
Cronus. Who is the leader for the Olympians? Zeus.
Okay.
Did we get to who takes over the fighting for Cronus?
Yeah, it's
Atlas.
And why does Atlas take over?
Because he's strong.
Because he becomes the general, because he is super strong.
Cronus crew.
Did we get to the advice that Mother Earth gives Zeus?
Yeah, she. It's like the go to this and dig it up or whatever.
He who
The
releases the
babies?
beast is trapped within shall
Oh,
turn the
and it's
tide
a
of war.
message, and because she's
Now,
old.
when
and
that
she's
happens, which god can see the future?
Prometheus.
Him, her.
Did we get to what Prometheus does?
He
Yes.
tells us. He tells
And
switching sides.
switches sides. Who does he take with him?
Epimetheus.
His
Brings
brother.
Epimetheus. Does he bring Atlas?
No, because he wants to stay. Cause it's his army.
Nicely done. What's your question, Liv?
Can I respond?
Yeah, that's fine. And so Atlas does not switch sides, refuses to join his brothers, and
Traitor.
continues to being the Titan General because he does not want to be a traitor. He feels it's immoral. Then I think that's roughly where we stopped with you guys.
Yeah.
We did not get to
The secret weapons.
the secret weapons and all of that. So this is where Prometheus is now on Zeus's side. And they're joined him, and nothing changes. It continues, and Zeus continues to lose. And Prometheus gets frustrated, and he confronts Zeus, and he's like, dude, I joined your side because I looked into the future and I saw you winning. Why are you not winning? And Zeus is like, dude, you are the worst wingman ever. He's like, I don't know why I'm not winning. I thought you were supposed to help me win. And so they yell back and forth a little bit, and finally they start talking. And Zeus is like, listen, I don't have a good idea for this, but the best I can guess is there was advice that my grandma gave me about he who releases the beast within shall turn the tide of war. I think she was talking about my inner anger. Prometheus goes, whoa, no, what'd she say? He's like, he who releases the beast within shall turn the tide of war. Prometheus goes, she's not talking about you. She's talking about herself. Zeus goes, what are you talking about? Well, it turns out that Zeus has no idea what she's talking about because he doesn't know that these things exist. What was she referring to?
The little
Cyclops. It turns out the only people who knew about it were Cronus and his really close friends. Well, who used to be his closest friend? And because of that, Prometheus knows about it. And he goes, Zeus, that's the secret. There are these elder gods who are older than any Titan, and they're trapped down in this pit called Tartarus. And I think Mother Earth is saying, if you release them, that's going to help you win this whole big war. So it's like, how do you know about them? He goes, well, Cronus told me about them years ago. He goes, wait, Cronus knows about them? He goes, uh-huh. Well, if Cronus knows about them, why isn't he releasing them? Prometheus is like, I don't know. He said something about them being like really ugly and kind of scary looking and dangerous. And Zeus is like, ooh, how ugly can they be? Because I love scary and dangerous. That's like my middle name. Zeus, Scary, Dangerous, Zeus. That's my full name. He goes, because of that, I'm definitely going to get them free. How do I go about finding them? And so Prometheus explains that there's this path you can run down, and you can get down to this big area of Tartarus, throw open the doors, and that's how you free them. Zeus is like, done. I'm on it. He's like, can I go ahead and throw the one girl down there like he's making her chair squeak for the fun of it? He's like, yeah, you can go ahead and throw her down there too.
Oh, shucks.
And so Zeus goes running down to this big area, throws open the giant doors, walks in, and is like, my name is Zeus, and I am here to holy. You didn't. No, that's beyond ugly. And Prometheus is like, I know. I told you they were pretty ugly. He's like, I think my insides just became my outsides. Okay. He's like, but I'm a big boy Zeus. I can do this. So he goes back over to the edge. He's like, hey, big ugly monsters. And they're like, blagga, blagga, blagga. And he's like, blagga, blagga, back at you. How would you guys like to be freed and then come up onto Earth and kill the gods that have kept you trapped? And they're like, blagga, 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 blagga. And he was like, I think that sounds angry. I like it. Small problem. And they go, blagga, blagga. He goes, when I look at you, I want to take sticks and jab them into my eyes. So I can't have you just running around on Earth at the end of the war because we're going to die of just puking all the time. So can we come to a compromise? And they go, blagga, blagga. And he's like, all right, here's my compromise. How about I release you, you fight in this big war, run around, kill as many gods as you want. And they're like, blagga, blagga. And he's like, and at the end of the war, you go over to the edge of it, to the mountain range, sit down, and then look out and face space so I never have to look at you. And they're like, blagga, blagga. He's like, sounds like a good deal. And he goes ahead and throws down a rope and pulls up the big ugly monsters with the idea that they just have to leave at the end of the war, hang out on the edge of the mountains so they can never see them again. Once he releases the big ugly monsters, Zeus is getting ready to leave when he realizes the pit's not empty. Who's still down there?
Cyclops.
And that's where the Cyclops are. And he goes, whoa, who are you guys? They're like, we're the Cyclops. We're some of the elder gods. And he's like, well, you're not ugly and gigantic. Why are you down here? And they're like, apparently we can make like super powerful, scary weapons that can hurt and kill gods, and we were deemed too dangerous. It's just like, whoa, whoa, whoa. Did you say you can make weapons that can hurt and kill gods? They're like, uh-huh. He was like, I'm looking for someone who can make weapons that can hurt and kill gods. Would you like to join my team? And they're like, can we come out? He's like, uh-huh. They go, do we have to hide behind a mountain? He goes, nah, you're kind of creepy, but I can roll with that. And they go, done! And he releases the Cyclops, and they join him also to make weapons for his brothers and sisters so they can fight in this whole big war. And this allows Zeus's side to start winning. The big ugly monsters are powerful enough that whenever they see Cronus and his friends, they go and pick up a mountain, walk over to Cronus, go smash, smash, and then put the mountain back down. Zeus would walk up to all of Cronus and his friends who are all like twitching on the ground, and he was like, oh, looks like you got a mountain dropped on you. That sucks. You know what would be even better? Being on my side. If you're on my side, we don't drop mountains on people. Anyone want to switch sides? And they're like, and he was like, done, come on over. And so gods start to switch sides and join him. More and more gods switch over to Zeus's side, and he starts to win this war. Except humans. During this war, with all of the big ugly monsters throwing mountains at each other, and the gods jumping off of mountains and throwing elbows to each other, and all of the earthquakes and stuff like that, every single human on Earth dies. And ends up killing off every single human. All of them are gone. Which is why you guys are not part of the first generation of humans made out of mud. You guys get to come later on in the story because we're the second and third generation of humans, which we're going to get to. So at this time, the Cyclops want to join in the fun. And they go, well, we're watching the big ugly monsters run around and smash people, which is great. But we want to make weapons too to help you guys out. And Zeus is like, done! I will happily take whatever weapons you come up with. But you also have to make weapons for my two brothers because the three of us are working together. And the Cyclops is like, perfect! We'll make weapons for all three of you. So Zeus gets the first weapon because he's the one that freed them. They want to make him the best weapon, which is
Lightning bolt.
close. It was actually a bucket, but you're on the right track of lightning bolts. And so it was believed that they couldn't actually make lightning bolts, so they actually made him a small bucket that he could put his hand into, and it would charge him up. And then he could pull his hand out and then just flick it like electro boogers, and just be like, "Achoo!" And then you would flick it at somebody, and it was like the worst booger ever. Everybody's like, "Ah!" And it would shock you, then you would fall down. With this, I actually did some research and tracked down what they think the artist representation of what this bucket looked like. To the best of their guess, this is what Zeus's bucket was that the Cyclops made for him that made it so good.
My goodness gracious.
That's ancient,
That's so
bro.
old. Where'd you get that from?
Pictures. Oh, and then the next brother is?
Poseidon.
Try
To
to
ask that first. And then Poseidon is like, ooh, I want a good stabby weapon, but I don't want to just stab one person. I want to stab as many people as possible.
That's not good.
And they're like, oh, we got you on this one. And those of you who have seen your Aquaman or played your Minecraft or played your Fortnite,
I play Fortnite.
that's where the trident comes in. And every picture of Poseidon, you'll see trident up there. Over behind Dead Malik, we have trident over here. Over behind Arstip, someday I'm going to do my IXL. There's going to be a trident
Bro, you got
here.
roasted, dude.
And the trident
You got violent.
allowed him to control water. He could pick up whales and like, woo, just throw them at people. He could make giant tidal waves. He could make earthquakes with it. One of the favorite things he would do is whenever they had downtime between the big fighting, they would have a cookout, and he could put 3 hot dogs on the trident at one time, one for each brother, and then cook it over the fire. And then at the end of it, he could turn the trident around and use it like a fire extinguisher and put out the fire. He was like a little Boy Scout. It was the bestest.
That's so cool.
And then the third brother is,
Hades.
and then Hades steps up. And he goes, whoa, hey guys,
Helmet.
before you make me something, I'm not into this like running around and like rawr attacking people. I'm more of like a fading into the background, not interacting with people kind of thing. So whatever weapon you give me, it needs to be one where I don't have to like be around people. And they're like, we got you, boo. And for him, they make, apparently Hummel's really excited about it,
Helmet.
the Helm of Darkness, or just an invisibility helmet, where he could then put on the helmet and he would fade away. Much like the EMP in Fortnite that nobody uses.
I use that.
Same idea from that one.
I don't know what that
He
is.
could put on the helmet and he would disappear. One of his, hey, good job, halfway there. His favorite things to do in fighting, but at the end I give you credit for that, at least we can give you the 5 points. During fighting, he would either run around with Zeus and they would high-five each other. Zeus would distract a god. Hades would put on his helmet, run up behind the god, go down onto all fours, and then Zeus would push the god over. And then Hades would get up giggling and run around. And he thought it was great. His other thing was Hades was actually the person that invented wedgies. And he would run up behind people in the middle of fighting and then grab their little togas and go, yark, and then pick them up. And their little feet would be kicking and he would just sit there and giggle and then drop them. So up here, it's kind of hard to see with the reflection, but if you have the good angle with Hades, you'll notice that he doesn't have the helmet on. Because if he did, then you wouldn't be able to see it. That'd be ridiculous. So, to help you out, I tracked down a picture of Hades in a battle wearing his helmet. And so this is a picture of Hades wearing his helmet in a battle. If you're having trouble seeing it up here, it's fine. I actually invited him. He's standing over there in the corner. And you can see Hades over there.
I fell for it.
Thank you. I was glad to. So at this point, now we're doing enough damage to all of Cronus and the other Titans that Zeus officially is able to win the war. Enough gods switch sides to him that he is declared the winner of all of this. With him being the winner, any god that fought against him gets the same punishment except for 2. And what is he going to do with all the gods that fought against him?
Tartarus.
Throws them into the pit of Tartarus. He's like, it's perfect. And he just chucks them all down into this pit to get rid of them. It's like being grounded, but instead of imagine your parents taking away your phone and putting you in your bedroom,
Take you in a black hole.
they take away everything and then put you in a hole in the backyard. And instead of it lasting a week, they're like, we're going to be back for you. Never. That's how long you're going to be down here. And you don't get to die either. So it became the worst punishment possible. The 2 gods that aren't punished down there, one of them is Cronus. And according to Greek mythology, he escaped and managed to run away, which really seemed weird in Greek mythology. But some stories say that he goes to Italy and hides out there. Some stories say that he goes to North Africa. But whatever it is, he is not punished by Zeus and gets away scot-free. The other god we're going to talk about in a moment because he has a special punishment. What is it the big ugly monsters do at the end?
Sit behind a mountain.
And they do. According to mythology, if you were to go to the edge of the world today and you go past the ocean and past the mountains, past that last mountain, there will be these big monsters just sitting out there kicking their little feet going and just kicking their feet back and forth, just sitting there to this day. The Cyclops don't have to go to the edge. Where do they go live?
I don't know.
Anywhere.
Olympus. Everywhere. Everywhere.
It was part of your quiz too.
In the mountains.
Inside of a mountain. So
Inside?
they just pick the inside of a random mountain. Maybe that's how we have volcanoes, because they work inside.
That's Hephaestus.
What?
Oh, I forgot about that. We haven't taught that yet.
What?
The Cyclops and Hephaestus are connected to each other.
Oh.
That's the
Didn't tell
story
us
that's
that.
coming up later. I know, I just realized that. I forgot in my head.
Oh
I
my
taught this a lot.
goodness.
So the Cyclops go and live inside of a mountain, and later on we're going to find out they get connected to Hephaestus. But that's a story that's going to come up in 2 days. But, have you guys heard of Chicken Little?
Yeah.
What was Chicken Little's worry?
The sky was
gonna
gonna
fall.
Turns out Chicken Little's from Greek mythology.
Oh, actually?
No, but it could be. So during this war, it was believed that the sky, now that Uranus is gone, the new sky was a giant bowl on top of a mountain. Not bowl, but like bowl full of sky juice that was sitting on top of a mountain. But during the war, with all of the giants smashing each other, this mountain started to fall apart, causing the sky to shake and shimmy back and forth. They were afraid that if this little part holding up the sky broke, the whole sky would slide off and crush everybody that was living up there. Zeus doesn't want that.
Could you imagine?
So he comes up with a special punishment. He's like, there's one god that we're going to have to force to go up there to hold the sky on his back so it can't slide off and crush everybody. Luckily, There's one God who's stronger than all the others, and that God is?
Atlas.
And that's where Atlas comes in. Now, turns out Zeus is already mad at Atlas. Because why was he mad at Atlas?
Because he stayed on the other person's side.
To do what?
Do you fight against him?
To fight against him. And so because Atlas was so good at fighting, it made Zeus's life miserable. So he figures this is the perfect punishment for Atlas. But if you see a picture of Atlas, he's not holding the sky. He's holding a giant world or globe on his back. The reason being is that as an artist, it's really hard to show someone holding the sky because the sky's empty. So it looks like you're just like, and like sitting there holding nothing, which becomes real awkward. So normally they're going to show him holding some kind of ball or something like that. But in mythology, he's holding the sky.
Thank you for the censor. Yes.
They have him go up to the top of a mountain, like my sensory, and lift up the sky, and that way it prevents the sky from falling on everybody.
falls and he falls?
But that doesn't solve the problem. Because think about it. Let's say I give Amir a detention. And I go, Amir, for your detention, I'm going to try something new. And I pull out this 25-pound weight. And I go, for your detention, you have to hold this 25-pound weight up here like this during your detention. And he's like, that sucks. I'm like, I know. But during your detention, I'm a little tired. So I'm going to lay down on the ground right below you and take a nap. And when I wake up, your detention's over. What's Amir going to do?
Drop the weight
Drop the
on
weight
I
on
like how fast you got. Drop the weight on your head, make you squeeze it. Exactly. Zeus realizes that's what Atlas is going to do. As soon as you make him lift it up, he's going to go, at you! And just throw it down and crush everyone. So Zeus comes up with a plan and goes and confronts Atlas. And goes, Atlas, hey buddy, you have daughters, don't you? He goes, yeah, I have 9 daughters.
9?
And Zeus goes, didn't I throw them into the pit of Tartarus? And he goes, yeah, they're called the Hesperides. They're 9 sisters, and you threw them into the pit of Tartarus. Zeus goes, all right, how about this? While you're holding up the sky, as a way of saying thank you for as strong as you are, I am going to let your daughters go free. And they get to live on the mountain next to you, and they can visit you whenever you want, as my way of thanking you. Sounds like Zeus is being nice, but really he's being tricky. Because now, if Atlas drops the sky, what happens?
He kills his daughter.
Kills his daughters too. So this was more Zeus's insurance policy to make sure Atlas doesn't try to kill him. Once we've done that, the 3 brothers decide to break up the world into 3 kingdoms. They're like, Cronus was greedy, and he tried to keep everything for himself. We're going to break the world into 3 separate kingdoms that we each get to rule. Zeus goes first, and what does he want for his kingdom?
Sky.
Close.
Rain.
He actually wants everything on the land on up. If he goes, it's on land, that's my kingdom. If it's in the sky, that's my kingdom. If it's between the land and the sky, that's my kingdom. He's like, that's all my area. And the other guys go, all right, we can buy that. Poseidon is fine with that. He's like, I don't care. That's not what I wanted anyway. Because what does Poseidon want?
Ocean.
He's like, I want everything in the water and the oceans. That's mine. He's like, you can have the land. I hate the land. I want squishy things. Technically, it's just the ocean. He doesn't really care about creeks and ponds, but everything that's water's his. Hades goes, whoa, if I'm getting a kingdom, I don't want to talk to anybody. I want to keep just sitting in the background and being all quiet, so whatever kingdom I get, there can't be anybody there to bother me. Zeus is like, the only place that has no one in it is like under the ground. And Hades is like, done, that's mine. I take everything under the ground. And so Hades claims everything under the ground, including Tartarus, but he has no desire to talk to them down in Tartarus. And so Hades gets everything that's down there. And even though it sounds like he might have gotten the worst deal, Hades loves it. He has his own kingdom, and there's no one around to bother him whatsoever. Now, with that, he's also known as the richest Titan to ever live. And do you know why he's the richest Titan?
Oh, because of like the metals are down there.
Where do you find gold?
Underground.
Where do you find all the gems and jewels?
Underground.
So because of that, he was thought to be the richest of all the gods, and Hades was pretty happy with that. Now that Zeus is the king of all the gods, he takes over Mount Olympus. How many thrones on Mount Olympus?
12.
He decides to start filling in the 12 thrones. The first 3 thrones are easy. That will be
His brothers.
Poseidon.
him and his 2 brothers. The next 3 thrones are also pretty easy.
sisters.
His 3 sisters, Hera, Demeter, Hestia. The other thrones get a little bit tougher, and that's our stories we're going to tell this week. Is we're going to tell the stories of how each Olympian gets his throne. Are there any parts of the blue sheet now that you don't think you have that I can help with? Although realize I'm mostly just going to ask you the same question you asked me.
Okay,
Brady,
18.
what does 18 say?
The first race of man, but was Prometheus the one that used mud and water?
Emily.
We got 23. It says what God switch. Oh wait.
Yep. Usually as soon as you read the question out loud, you're like, oh, I know this answer. Amir.
What is 23?
Right. Liam.
What is 23?
What does 23 say?
Didn't a lot of the gods switch them?
Yeah, who are the 2 main ones that switch sides?
Why did he want to?
Prometheus and
There you go.
Why did he want to?
Prometheus didn't
Why did
say-
Prometheus?
Oh, yeah, he-
Why does Prometheus want to switch sides?
Because if you
Because he doesn't want to die.
wait, who's the second main?
Wait, what?
Who's
Emily.
the second main god?
Who's his brother he talked from?
28. 28.
What's 28 say?
Is it possible for us to gods to die?
Is it, can gods die?
Yes.
Not really. I mean, it's possible, but for most of ours, no. Like in most of our stories, they don't really die.
How far did we get?
I think we're down to like 33-ish.
Oh Lord, so I'm very behind.
Hi, definitely.
Is 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29.
What's it say up here?
31, 32.
Yeah.
I was thinking 60 though.
Wait, Raiden.
See you tomorrow.
Wait, what?